Fundamentally, I meditate when I suppose, thoughts might be running away from me. So to that end, it's really about, I suppose, just slowing down things for me, just to just say, oh, okay, I get up, I might feel a bit anxious about something, or my mind is, racing on a number of different things, and I think, oh, okay, maybe I just need to take a moment here. So that's really what it is for me. And it can last. Sometimes it can be for a few minutes, sometimes it's a bit longer. It just depends on the circumstance. Helping.
And the twice a week, is that in relation to how you feel? Like your anxiety or your thoughts running away from you, it only happens twice a week?
Well, I'm giving you a twice a week just as a mean average. It's okay. I mean, it's I could, I will look very often at the moment, for example, if I'm doing a lot of stuff outdoors and working and things like that, my days are fairly purposeful in that I've got to be up at this time and this is going to be done, that's going to be done. And therefore, it's fairly clear to me what's going on and what needs to be done, and I get up and I do it and all the rest of that sort of stuff. There are other days or weeks, rather, where sometimes the purpose isn't quite so clear and the mind might, wander a little more. And then so I perhaps might do a little bit more on those occasions. But it's certainly not an everyday thing.
Like
that.
Listen. And how long do you meditate for?
I would say 15 minutes. Completely.
That's really, yeah, though. And at the end of your meditation, what usually happens? How do you actually feel after it?
Well, the point of it for me is to slow my mind down. And, once that's occurred, I will feel a little bit more relaxed. Just perhaps a little bit clear on what needs to happen next. That's exactly.
Okay. So, am I right to say that I'm hearing that you gain some clarity through meditation?
Yes, I suppose that's right.
That's fine. Yeah. That's very nice. So, I don't know if you know that today is Vesak Day.
I did not.
And does it hold any significance for you?
Well, I mean, as we both used to live in Singapore, of course, a bit of Gulf, it does hold some memories. And of course, if we were there, I probably would go, was the same thing. But in the forests here in central Portugal, it's not the first thing I think of when I get up in the morning. But from that point of view, it holds some fond memories of, being in Singapore and living there, in that kind of environment.
Very nice. So, I'm going to ask you if you would like to meditate with me this morning.
Sure.
Okay. And do you have any thoughts about what it might mean for you this morning, this meditation?
Well, I don't really have too many thoughts on it. I mean, let's be clear. You said to me, "Oh, do you want to meditate with me this morning? Because I want to do this channel." So I said yes. So I'm doing it principally because you've asked me to. I wouldn't have meditated this morning because I didn't feel the need to, but I'm quite happy to do so. So I don't quite know. I'm quite happy to just sit in the forest for 15 minutes in peace and quiet. I've got no problem with that. And that's quite enjoyable in of itself. And what happens at the end of the 15? Right. Okay.
So, what actually happens when you start to meditate? Do you have any rituals on how you do it, or methods?
Well, I suppose it's the fairly sort of SOP. Just slowing down your breathing, trying, I suppose, to find some sort of center, for want of a better term, and just concentrating on the breathing, really. Um, I mean, if I'm in the forest doing it and the birds are chirping and stuff like that, I mean, I'm quite happy to let my mind wander with nature. I don't have to kind of go into sort of like Buddhist mode. I'm quite happy to just sort of like be in nature. And that in of itself and the peace and the quiet is quite meditative. So I must say like that. But principally, it's like I said, it's the standard thing. It's just the breathing, hold, out again, that sort of just being conscious of that today. And then that's it, really.
Okay, great. So you you primarily like concentrate on your breathing.
Yeah, because it's the only thing that I can control. So I mean, it makes sense to try to control it basically, and then if you manage to do that, then okay.
That's good. So one more question, like what do you mean by Buddha like?
Well, I suppose it's a little bit tongue in cheek, but I mean, what I mean is that of course, you know, there are some people who meditate to a point of, I suspect, being in a, almost within themselves, where there is, even if the birds are chirping or the frogs are doing whatever the frogs are doing, that will possibly be even blocked out, and they're just, I'm not, that I don't do it to that degree. I don't say to myself, I must master this. The point for me is just to slow the thing down. And if, like I said, if the birds are chirping, I'm quite happy to let my mind wander a little bit and go with that. That's fine with me.
Okay. So it sounds like you go into a state of allowing. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose so. I mean, it's just, I do deliberately do it quite early in the morning if I'm going to do it, because that's when it works best for me, I meant to say. And, I do try to find of course, an area which is quite quiet. So I do give myself the opportunity, or the best possible chance for it to be, time well spent.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for answering the question. So shall we go into a meditation?
Sure.
So how many minutes would you like to meditate today?
I would like to do 10 minutes today.
Okay, great. I'll put a timer on, and then maybe at the end of our meditation, if you don't mind, I might want to ask you some more questions on how it went.
Sure.
Great. So we're going to meditate right now for 10 minutes, and you can do it with us and see how it feels for you. We'll see you on the other side of the meditation, and we'll have a kind of a short section to end. Okay? So, I'm going to put a 10-minute timer, and it will have a soft bell at the beginning to tell you that's the start of the 10 minutes, and then another soft bell at the end to tell you the end of the 10 minutes. Okay. Good. So, here we go. Yeah. That you really think your your penis being you with your you can better with the two of them base you you guys you know your you to the it's big you can be bring bigger Like a that's real and real. So okay, we're back. How was that?
It's very pleasant. I mean, it's a, like it's a lovely morning. It's right. The sun's out. We're in the forest. Birds are chirping. It's not difficult to enjoy. So yeah, it's nice, brother.
Great. And did anything must during your meditation, any specific insight or special insights or aha moments?
Um, I wouldn't go so far as to say, any sort of, I guess, aha moments. I mean, I I felt pretty good this morning anyway. So I'm kind of okay at the moment, headspace wise and all the rest of that sort of stuff. So to that end, it was just a nice exercise to do, and I didn't have anything to, I suppose, clean out today or address. I felt pretty good when I woke up, so I was good. But like I said, it's a lovely morning, so I'm very happy to do it for doing its sake.
And based on today's meditation, would it inspire you to do it every day or not?
I, you know, I'm a big believer in little often, so I'm quite happy to, consider doing it a little bit more often than I do. For 10 minutes a day, something like that. So I think to that end, I mean, I would quite happily fit it in. So yes, I mean, I'd be okay for that. I can't say that I would do it every day in all good faith, because I know that I wouldn't. But yeah, I mean, I'd quite happily, put aside 10 minutes of the morning a little bit more often when it's quiet and when just sit down and do it.
Of course. So, do you really see that today's meditation raised your spirits a bit more than, I know you sound good. Did it raise that feeling of goodness even more?
Yes, I suppose it did, because it was and there's a beautiful sound right now. So it's very nice to just concentrate, or not concentrate on it, but just let it in, I suppose. And so yeah, that's nice, because sometimes when you come out early in the morning to start working and things like that, you don't really always have the time to just let that in.
Yeah.
You've got things to do.
All right, then. So that's the end of our session. I hope that you follow us on this channel, because I will have different guests. And yeah, we'll see what happens after this experiment. So thank you. And I want to thank my husband.
You're welcome.
Much.
All righty.
And we'll see you soon. Bye.